The tornado which struck Flint, Michigan on June 8, 1953 is the most deadly to strike Michigan in historic times. It left a profound impression not just of people in Flint, but also on surrounding cities and towns throughout southeast or lower Michigan. Before I tell you of the tornado, let me share with you a very curious, nay, enigmatic event in my life connected with the Flint tragedy, which, as already stated, occurred in 1953. I was born in 1955, 2 years later. What I experienced makes me wonder if somehow memories can be transferred, perhaps genetically. I clearly remember being in the car with my dad and mom as they, like so many other curious people, toured the devastated area. I remember seeing smashed houses, uprooted trees, downed power lines, and so on. And this being a full 2 years before I was born. No, I'm not nuts, though throughout my life I've had many enigmatic encounters with the unknown and supernatural. This probably was the earliest one in my life. But anyways, the following is from an Associated Press news article. A volley of tornadoes roared through southern Michigan and northwestern Ohio last night, staggering the two states with an appalling toll, which today hit 131 dead and more than 700 injured. Flint, then a booming industrial city of 163,000, some 70 miles north of Detroit, lay like a bomb target in the wake of the most deadly of the half dozen or more twisters that occurred in that outbreak. Mangled bodies of 111 victims were scattered over the city's outskirts, as was reported by the state police. City officials predicted that the toll eventually may be one of the higher ever suffered from a tornado, according to the article. The AP article continued, some of them said it may double the present count when the last of the rubble is cleared away. Records show St. Louis, Missouri had 306 killed in a tornado May 27, 1896. But state police and National Guard search crews worked through the night, probing through piles of debris sucked up in the big black funnel and dumped over the entire countryside. The Flint tornado, which hedge-hopped easterly through Michigan's thumb to Lake Huron, dwarfed half a dozen others which struck along a 350-mile north-south line from Tawas City, Michigan to Bowling Green, Ohio. All in all, more than 200 persons were injured and property damage will run into the millions. At least a dozen persons were killed in the two Ohio tornadoes. The Flint tornado, by that way, that was an end quote, but the Flint tornado is rated to have been an F5 on the Fujita scale. It also ranks as one of the most deadly tornadoes in United States history, or did at that time. Most of the casualties and damage occurred in an unincorporated community named Beecher, a suburb of the northern edge of the city of Flint. The Flint tornado was one of 8 that touched down in lower Michigan and northwest Ohio. It was also a pair of larger Flint-Worcester tornado outbreak of severe weather that began over Nebraska and Iowa before moving east across the upper Great Lakes states and Ontario and onto New York and New England, spawning even more deadly twisters as it progressed. Just prior to the tornadoes touching down, eyewitness accounts recalled that an approaching thunderstorm with several intense lightning strikes turned the northwest sky a dark black yellow-green color. The U.S. Weather Bureau observations that evening recorded that temperatures of 78 degrees with a dew point of 71. At 7:30 p.m., the Weather Bureau Severe Storm Unit issued a severe weather bulletin alerting of the threat of hazardous weather for southeast lower Michigan. At about 8:30 p.m., the tornado touched down in Mount Morris Township north of Flushing. The first observation from the Weather Bureau's Flint station came just minutes after the tornado touched down, and it began to take a path directly down the Coldwater Road corridor, entering the residential neighborhoods of the Flint suburb of Beecher. The tornado, moving about 35 miles an hour, cut a path 833 yards wide. At the time, before severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings, the residents of Beecher had almost no advance warning other than the sighting of the funnel cloud heading toward them. Victims recalled hearing the incredible roar from the tornado and seeing the black funnel before heading for shelter in the basements. In densely populated Beecher neighborhoods, the direct hit of the storm hit them, with witnesses recalling that the tornado's massive funnel resembled black smoke and was accompanied by a smaller multiple vortices. Others reported seeing fireballs within the debris of the tornado. The Flint Beecher is one still remembered today, and extreme caution is taken whenever severe weather alerts and warnings are issued. This is Dennis Morrison telling you that thanks for stopping by and remembering this historic and tragic storm.